What are the prospects for ending the war? Let's start with what each side wants. Russia would like to capture all of Ukraine. Ukraine wants the Russian invaders to leave its entire territory. As of today, neither scenario is realistic. Ukraine simply doesn't have enough strength to go on the offensive. Modern weaponry from allies is being delivered in limited quantities and at a controlled pace. Of course, strategy plays a crucial role, and you can still outsmart the enemy. A vivid example is the Kursk operation, or the Web operation. However, in general, Ukraine has barely enough weapons or manpower to defend itself. Russia too lacks the strength for an offensive. The world's so-called second strongest army has been shattered. Soviet stockpiles have been exhausted. While Russia still has plenty of old equipment and personnel, maintaining this numerical advantage now requires pulling literal museum exhibits out of storage. At first glance, both sides seem to need peace and openly declare this to anyone willing to listen. Yet they are not negotiating with each other. The reason is simple: they need very different things. Ukraine urgently needs peace because a full-scale war has been raging on its territory for 3 years, with all the devastating consequences that come with it. Ukraine needs peace to prevent another war. For that, it requires either NATO membership, ensuring Article 5 protection, meaning an attack on Ukraine would trigger a response from NATO forces, or neutrality, but backed by a massive arsenal of modern weaponry, so that Russia wouldn't even dare think of attacking again. Or Ukraine needs its nuclear weapons back. In short, Ukraine needs security guarantees. Russia, on the other hand, needs a ceasefire to regroup, to regain its strengths, as its resources are depleted. However, Moscow wants a ceasefire on its own terms, meaning no NATO for Ukraine, a reduced Ukrainian army, and no real security guarantees. Such an outcome would inevitably lead to another war with Russia, there is no doubt about that. Even looking only at 21st century history, Russia has repeatedly violated international agreements that were crucial for global security and stability. It launched the Second Chechen War after losing the first one and signing a peace deal. It launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine after signing the Minsk agreements in 2014. Not to mention the Budapest Memorandum, under which it was supposed to be a security guarantor. Those who do not know history are doomed to repeat it. Unfortunately, many do not know history, or they do, but act solely in their own interests. For example, some countries have proposed various peace plans, completely ignoring the root cause of the problem. Knowing that Ukraine would receive no real security guarantees, Russia is ready to sign any peace deal with pushing narratives about ending bloodshed and saving lives. But these are just empty words. Russia can stop the war at any moment. It simply needs to stop shooting and withdraw its troops. Ukraine, however, cannot stop fighting, because if it does, it will cease to exist. So far, NATO is in no hurry to accept Ukraine, nor is it rushing to provide sufficient weaponry. It was expected that the US, after the elections, would significantly influence the further development of events one way or another, as turbulence in American politics would subside. However, it seems that the United States has shifted all the responsibility onto Europe, essentially telling them to sort things out on their own. Given that the so-called coalition of the willing does not appear very willing, uncertainty remains.